You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Adil Thomas. Moving to more international stories, a Hong Kong court on Monday has ordered the liquidation of mega property group Evergrande. Chinese property giant Evergrande had about $300 billion in liability. The group has failed to offer a concrete restructuring plan despite months of delays and several court hearings. Evergrande shares fell by more than 20% in Hong Kong after the announcement on Monday. Trading in the shares has now been suspended as there is a circuit that's been hit. Beijing, meanwhile, is grappling with an underperforming economy, which is among the worst property market in 9 years, with more than 50 Chinese real estate developers turning defaulters. Well, DD India's Patrick Falk joins us from Hong Kong. Patrick, good afternoon. How does one see this crisis that's unfolding, especially when it comes to the Chinese economy and Chinese housing sector in particular?
Well, look, it couldn't really come at a worse time for the Chinese government, which has been trying to stem a massive market rout, and it has been introducing measures to try and shore up the property sector in particular. But this ruling today has inevitably dampened sentiment in the market. At the same time, though, people were perfectly aware of the state of turmoil that Evergrande has been in. So in that sense, some of this would have been priced into the market already, but it does mean there is uncertainty moving forward for China's property sector. In particular, reports are saying that there may be as many as 1.5 million people left with unfinished properties as a result of the ruling today. So that is something that the government is going to have to deal with, and there is a possible risk of social instability as a result of it.
Patrick, is this Chinese economy, a ticking time bomb?
Well, the Chinese economy is certainly facing a lot of headwinds at the moment, and it is navigating a very difficult period. But this case was also being watched very closely indeed for significant legal ramifications, particularly because, this has never really happened before, where we've got a Hong Kong court that is issuing a winding up order, which essentially needs to be put in effect in the mainland. Liquidators do not have the power to enforce this sort of liquidation order, and therefore it relies on the mainland courts playing ball, essentially. Now, China did agree 2 years ago to recognize these sorts of insolvency orders, particularly in the cities of Shenzhen, Shanghai, and Xiamen. But in practice, it's been very difficult to put that in place. And to date, there has only been one such order that has been recognized by the mainland courts.
Okay. Patrick, quickly, there is a saying that, when US sneezes, the rest of the world catches cold. But looking at the current situation that China faces, is that a cause of concern, especially for, the world in particular?
Well, I think a lot of people are very much concerned about the situation that the Chinese economy is in right now, and the stock market is performing weakly, and we have been seeing reports suggesting that it has lost $6 trillion in value. But at the same time, the US economy is showing tremendous resilience at this time. So that is also something that the government will be mindful, that this sort of gap, this race to become the world's #1 economy is seemingly drifting further away for China right now.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you. Appreciate you joining us this afternoon on DD India News Hour.